First political reporter Doug Reardon is at Georgia Tech tonight, an important site in this debate.
Back in 2022, Georgia Tech hosted the Collegiate Swimming National Championships. A swimmer by the name of Riley Gaines tied with an openly trans athlete for 5th place, Leah Thompson. That kicked off Gaines' anti-trans activism in sports, and the bill in the Georgia House was named after her yesterday. At the White House Wednesday, President Donald Trump fulfilled a campaign promise, signing an executive order barring transgender women from competing in women's sports.
Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls.
Trump's order is nearly identical to 2 Georgia bills currently in the State House and Senate. Georgia House Speaker John Burns, who was in attendance for Wednesday's signing, introduced the state version just a day before flying to D.C.
This is simply about fairness and common sense.
The House bill is named for Riley Gaines.
Men do not belong in women's sports.
The former collegiate swimmer has become the face of anti-trans activism in sports after tying for 5th with trans athlete Leah Thomas at the 2022 National Championship held at Georgia Tech. On Wednesday, protests at state capitals across the nation, including Georgia's, took aim at Trump's anti-trans policies.
Putting policies that erase transgender rights, that erase transgender people, is absurd and it's unacceptable.
It's scary. I'm scared.
Nicole Glaug is a transgender athlete who competes in a local intramural and inclusive soccer league. She sees these laws as a way to shepherd fear of the transgender community.
You know, you asked the question, where are all the trans athletes dominating international soccer or basketball or volleyball or all these sports where we have perceived, inherent benefits? Where are they? They don't exist.
The president of the NCAA told Congress in testimony this month there are less than 10 transgender athletes competing in college sports. A spokesperson for the Trump administration said the president would also lobby the International Olympic Committee to ban transgender athletes. From Georgia Tech, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.